This is crazy. All right, Zoom recording. Is the camera good? Yes, sir.
It's been recording for a little while now.
It's gonna be good, bro. We gonna chop it up. We just gonna have a conversation. Oh, ready, dog?
Hell yeah.
You ready, bro? Nah, let's get this thing, man. I just want to go ahead and get kicked into it, bro. I don't even need an introduction. There's no introduction for what we gonna talk about today, bro.
Yes, sir.
This is just one of those. I want to speak on the creativity and the artistry from episode 1. We spoke on AI, creativity, artistry, and all that kind of stuff. So, But first, how are you, my boy? You good?
Bro, outstanding, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed, so to speak. You?
Yo, bro, I'm amazing. I'm amazing, honestly, just because we headed into 2024 beautifully. You know, this is going to be dropped in 2024, but this is a good little prequel to what we're going to talk about, good little prerequisites, just because I just want everybody to understand that 2023 for me was a year of a lot of challenges. I'm talking about dealing with an ex, paying $400 a month every month for 8 months after moving out of the crib, having to buy a new car when I wasn't even financially ready to get a new car, you know, managing through a job, losing a lot of people in my business, like a lot of people I looked up to in business, you know, left the organization I was a part of. So it was a lot of who's here to hold it down. But I had to realize it was going to be me and my homies that I could trust, that I can love, that I built way before 2023, and those relationships carry me over. So, but as of right now, bro, I'm in a blessed position. I'm in Houston, Texas, man. I'm in your neck of the woods, man. So
I could attest to everything that you just said, bro. 2023 was a year of development.
Yeah.
Sharpening those skill sets and learning how to honestly just adapt. New environments, like you said, new hometown, new skill set, new goals, as well as new relationships. So 2023 has been, I mean, just from my end, it has been a year of evolution. But when you look back over the time lapse, what me and you was talking about almost exactly a year from today, is we was able to capitalize on brand new skill sets and new relationships and new people and new ideas to move into 2024. So I am grateful for that.
Exactly, man. And that's going to lead right into that evolution. Art is evolution. You know, art is always changing. Art is I like to give art like an acronym to kind of like explain what it is. So of course you got the A, right? For the A is your audience, right? So in art, the audience determines what kind of creative pieces that you make and what kind of outwardly look. So for example, like we in this room, we got photos of horses in here, you know, you got antlers, you got this kind of Western audience. You got this Western feel created for this Western audience. You got hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you look at these paintings that they be painting in Europe, bro, selling for millions and millions of dollars, bro. And the average person be like, but why are they selling this piece of paint? It don't even look like anything. Right. But because it wasn't tailored to your audience, right? And then you have the R. Now it's your reach. Who are you trying to reach out to? So because your audience is who's right there supporting you, right up front. Kind of like you at a concert, you on stage, you look down. That's your audience. What your reach is people who can't directly interact with you. Your reach is those who don't know where they can't get to you. They're in different parts of the world. So then you have your reach. And after that, the T is the technology. And when I say technology, because there's always technological advances that are made. Like you got to think the paintbrush, like with the Asian Chinese people, they would use like quills and calligraphy, right? They would have that wooden stick with a brush, usually horsehair, and they would wet it and they would dry it to give it a fine tip, and that allowed them to paint pictures. Right. Then you see how the writing went from straight up and down, then it started to tilt. Then you had quills with the feather. Yeah. Then you notice, okay, we can't keep killing birds to get these feathers. We need to find a new technology to get ink. Absolutely. Okay, now we got to find a way to get ink. Now we got to find a way to get ink and a pen. And that's all this technology just to allow you to paint or sign your name on a contract. Like there's a lot of technology when it comes to artistry, drawing. And I want to allude to this for you, bro, because now we in the Web3 space.
Absolutely.
Even though there's a lot of skepticism in the Web3 space
Mhm.
with Sam Bankman-Fried and BlackRock and Vanguard buying up all the cryptos and the federal government and the SEC shutting down. But for you, you don't see that as a downfall. You see that as an opportunity for your creative side to really step out.
It's a major opportunity. AI should be used as a tool to be able to get things done faster, a lot more effective, and you should look at it as some type of assistant.
Right.
So, from my standpoint, I'm developing a game.
Okay.
Right. Art in so many different mediums. When you look at a game, most people don't consider the simple fact that you have game art, you have user interface, meaning what the player sees.
Right.
You have character design, you have level design, you have sound art, and then you have the technology as far as building and communicating to the computer what all of these pieces of art is actually doing inside of this virtual space. So it's so many different components, but utilizing AI can help you get that stuff done a whole lot faster. So I want you to think about it in the space that you have a character, you have an idea. So you have a character.
Right.
A character is simply just maybe a made up image or figure. It could be a cartoon, it could be an anime, it could be whatever.
Let's use We. When they had the little me characters, you designed your own face.
Okay.
We'll use that as our character for
So
that. We'll use that as our character, the me character.
Okay. So from that sense, you could use AI to help you develop that character. You go to midjourney.ai. It's a tool that I use, and you communicate to the AI like saying, hey, I want to make this stylized character in Pixar design. I want it to be a sneakerhead. I want it to be fashionable, and I want it to be brown skin. Midjourney will now give you 4 different variations of that character that you just described. All you have to do is know how to communicate to this AI to be able to get it done a lot faster.
Exactly.
Now, if you look at it production-wise and economically, you will have to find, if you're not doing the work yourself, which is, a job in its own, you have to now outsource this to a third party. Whether you hire some type of 3D designer through Instagram, Fiverr, Indeed, but you have to find somebody to actually do the work. And this is just for mockups. Midjourney, you pay a $20-$30 subscription every single month. They give you unlimited variations, right? And not only does it give you what they believe you were looking for, but it's also a button for you to make those refinements, saying, hey, I want you to make small refinements to this. I like this, remove that, and we're gonna continue to
find the one.
Right. We're gonna continue to exactly like you said, find the one. We're gonna go through trial and errors. We're gonna have a different process until you have a final piece. Now that is so powerful in its own. It took a $1,000 process that could take up to about a few weeks, up to maybe a few months, to be doing it in a couple of minutes.
Exactly.
So, of course, you're intimidated from a standpoint of being somebody that's solely relying on their talents.
Yeah.
But it's all about scale, right? The faster you could do something, the more clients you can make. The more clients you make, the more money you make. Right? So you have to use it in sync. I use it in sync, so I'm not intimidated at all.
No, yeah. I think there's also amazing opportunities for people to use AI because at the end of the day. Oh, sorry. No, you're good. You got to think like AI within itself has to evolve too, like the technological side of it. So how well it can create and render images, how well can it pick up on nuances of us as creators to use the AI. That is still within itself. So maybe the design aspect might become intimidating. But even as a designer, as someone who's a engineer, you can be the engineer behind AI. Because at the end of the day, AI can't run itself. AI has to be run by somebody to allow us as creators to use it. So, but I think Midjourney is so cool because it's now going to force you to really deepen your image. Because a lot of people just have a vague idea of what they want, what they look for, what they see. But now AI, you want AI to work at its highest form, at its highest level, you're going to have to be detailed. You're going to have to be specific. And that's going to train you to use your 5 senses when you walk around the world to gain inspiration. You just can't hear it. You got to be able to see it. You might have to write it down. It's like, okay, what do I want? And that's what I said. I want him to be a sneakerhead with a South Central Bronx, like South Central aesthetic, families from the Bronx. he has a Cuban descent, and so now the AI is gonna be like, okay, I gotta find a Cuban descent, Bronx kind of style aesthetic. So that's the background. He's a sneakerhead, so I'm gonna put some Jordans or some kind of nice off-white shoe on his feet, or you can tell it exactly. Make them wear off-whites, and that's make them wear them, and then they'll create. And I want the off-whites to be white, or I want the Jordan Air Jordan 13 on his kid's feet, and just the open and amazing of creativity. Because then now what I've learned in what ChatGPT and a lot of these other AIs do is, okay, once you have a template, you gave it a template. Now you can say use the same template as a before, but now make the character run, make the character dunk.
Yeah.
Same aesthetic. Now you're giving it action. So then you take that action and now you put it in a 3D render space to create that 3D world. Now you have their character in all these different poses, just like what Disney did when they was drawing Mickey Mouse. They had what they were like flip books. So you remember you had a sticky note and you drew a little circle and then you opened up the sticky note and drew it. Now you gave it motion. Now you put it in motion.
Yeah.
That stop animation motion is now you can give it. Now you have AI to allow you to give all 360 view. Then you put into a space, and you give it action. Now you bring it to life, and you did all that off some pictures with an AI tool that you use, and then now of course your own creative design and your skill comes in. But
so, how do you feel about being able to actually own this type of technology and be able to transform media from an ownership standpoint, right? Because as we talk about the Disneys, as we talk about these major networks, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, all of the things that we know and love, and not to discredit them, but as far as ownership from our culture and our TV and our realm of entertainment, that means so much.
Yeah, having ownership for it.
Having an ownership, asserting yourself in a space, because now you have those tools to not only be a consumer, right? That's something extremely important to me is the consumer mindset long term, right? Because in reality, we are consumers, right? We consume something.
Exactly.
Right. We get a multitude of products from somewhere else, but we now have the tools and the technology to not only know how it's actually done,
right,
but to be able to execute it without a crazy amount of capital, crazy amount of people participating on the team.
Yeah, and I'll say to speak on ownership, like you're asking pretty much how do we get into that realm of ownership? So a few ways we can go about it. I implore everyone to do their research on this because it's always different. Trademarks. So like, for example, Deion Sanders, I use Deion Sanders' example. He's a talking head right now. When he said, I ain't too hard to find. You can trademark a phrase. So if you can trademark a phrase, you can trademark a character. You can trademark a story. You can do copywriting. So images. So then if someone wants to take your image of your 3D design from Midjourney and put it on a t-shirt, you own the rights to that. That's where ownership comes in. You own the copyright to an image. You own the copyright to a phrase, a slogan. Then you own the copyright to your branding, to your publishing. Just like musicians, when it comes to their masters and their publishing, that's the level of ownership you got to look at, because big companies like Viacom, big companies like CBS, Warner Brothers, if you don't do it right, you're not going to earn the residuals if they use their product. So for example, like let's say your character blows up and Nickelodeon wants to use it in a slime commercial for the Super Bowl. You don't own the rights to it, so Nickelodeon can residually keep using your photo for profit, and then be like, oh, I really want a shirt of that character. Now they put them in storage. You're not getting no piece of that.
Right.
So I always say trademarks, look at copywriting, and then do research on how do artists own their masters and their publishing. What paperwork does that take? And I Google is free. ChatGPT is free. Ask ChatGPT, hey ChatGPT, I'm looking to own the copywriting and I want to own the copywriting and trademarking of a video game character that I'm developing. Give me 3 good resources where I can find websites, documents, articles, or examples. And you type all of this, or examples of people who have successfully owned the copyright and trademarking to a character. Or you can type in, does Mickey Mouse have a copyright and a trademark? And if it does, and you can say, and if it does, take me to a website or take me to a location on the internet where I can now read the paperwork to owning a copyright. Now AIs can take you down that road. And that's where AI can take you.
Right.
It's just a Google on steroids.
Absolutely,
But
bro.
you gotta know what you're specifically asking for,
You
and then
have to ask. Yeah.
articulate it. And so that's what I would do for creative. That producing, like, for example, um, we're in the space of Instagram and media and TikTok.
Mhm.
Bro, any video can go viral in a second. So you got to think about at any moment, somebody can see your value, and then you got to put a price tag on it. So the copyrights and the trademarks, now you've added a price tag to your value instead of like, oh man, how much is this worth? Well, I think it's roughly $50. Well, I roughly think it's this. Well, damn. Well, you now you can go, man, I spent 300, 400 on this copyright. I spent this much on trademark. And man, I'm going to charge you 1,500 to use this. I'm gonna need a return on my investment. After that, we cool. Or how social media creators right now, they make content for other big creators. They're like, hey man, it might be, you want to use my image in? How long do you think you're using it for? Oh man, I'm gonna be using it for the next year and a half. Okay, cool. Bet. Just do this. Just pay me $200 a month. Residually.
Yep.
And then all I want is 1% of all earnings. What else you use it for? I want 1% residually gave it to me. I want royalties. So this is where that's where the ownership piece comes in.
Bro,
but
I am so glad you mentioned the licensing model because there's so many things that could be licensed that a lot of people don't necessarily notice. Like, let's just say your show, for example. We watch ads on YouTube every single day. People pay for those ads, right?
A lot of money.
But we could both agree that there's no guarantee who's actually seeing those ads.
Facts.
Is it actually catching your audience? Is it catching the likeliness of somebody that you want to inspire this type of person? So, in a sense that you are that person that have the audience that I know people are extremely tapped into your mind, your image, and the way that you carry yourself. Would I not be able to add some type of entertaining, interactive ad throughout the show versus just assorting to YouTube? So now you're licensing your actual show because you're incorporating a business model of, hey, you can license this space. You can actually rent this space, which is the amount of time. It's the same thing they do on TV, ESPN. Yeah. They run commercials, ads through Super Bowls all the time. We use YouTube, we use TikTok, we use Instagram. The most popular is Facebook. But we could both agree that people are not just compelled by looking at words on the screen, right?
Yeah.
They like to hear voices. We like to see images. We like to have that euphoric feel of seeing something take form.
Exactly.
People, the face-to-face interaction. So one thing that I plan to incorporate in the game is that licensing model. Right.
Okay.
I'm extremely
talk about
excited.
that. Talk about that, bro.
So
go into depth a little bit. Like, what is that? How does that? Let's provide the people an image. What does that look like? So if I'm in the game, how would that licensing be beneficial for creators? Like, if I'm in the game, what should I be looking for?
Okay, I'm extremely excited about this. Right.
Okay.
So the game is Face World, Planet Face, but it's basically it's going to be an interactive community, but it's also a game, which will offer real life utility. It's pretty similar to NFT. So it's the utility for having ownership, basically meaning like a club, a community. So inside of this game, there's exploration in this game. Now, throughout your journey of exploration, because us as people, we naturally enjoy rewards, right? Everybody want to be rewarded for something, right? We want to, whether it's finances, whether it's growth, whether it's abilities, our bodies, we like to be rewarded. So there's going to be real world rewards that will be a licensing model to other businesses. So let's just say you have a fragrance business, right?
Okay.
And we're inside the game, we're playing, and you just beat a boss, and or you come across like a random treasure chest that you break open, and now it's a bottle of your actual fragrance. It'd be a pop up on the side of the screen that say, "Hey, wow, you just found the hidden item. This is a brand of certified fragrances. Press X to claim a 20% discount."
That's crazy.
You know
that'd be wild. That's crazy. But you can do in-game purchases and buy the fragrance from there and then deliver to your crib.
Yeah, so you can do in-game purchases directly from the game, but it's offering value to, again, the business owner, which is you, the person that has the fragrance. It's compelling to the player because now you're offering things that they actually enjoy as a reward, right? And it'll even be an option inside the game, like, hey, list some of your top 5 interests, whether it's music, so free music releases, or maybe a discount on Drake's
Concert tickets.
album, or concert tickets, or uh merchandise as far as clothing or hats or different things like that. It could be digital items, right? Let's just say you exploring ruins inside of the game,
Right.
and now you have a voucher for a tour when you go to a different city, or
That's
uh
tough.
different little information to be able to be integrated inside of this game, because we have the technology to do it, and it's a licensing model that, I mean, we see it done on the corporate level. We
Yeah.
see it on 2K all the time.
When you have the different players, you have like
Mm-hmm.
sponsored by Sprite and like,
Sponsored by Sprite. You have little different clothing brands when you go to the player shop,
yeah,
right?
and
Sometimes they
they're
have the celebrity barbers inside of the game.
so you can, okay. I haven't played 2K, but now when I imagine it, I see like YouTubers playing 2K. I can see that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really creating a mod player and you're literally living through that life. And that's where they're leaning toward that in GTA 6 right now. That real world application with crypto and they move in
Mm-hmm.
stack direction. But we'll talk about that in a second. But continue, bro. So the game, real life licensing, real world application. So what I'm hearing is let's say I own a clothing brand
Mm-hmm.
and they go into, you know how sometimes in video games, I play like, I see an anime, they go into like the shop. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They go to the shop and they get clothing to strengthen their arm,
Mm-hmm.
to get their armor, right? Their armor is their
Absolutely.
clothing. And so
Absolutely.
then they collect coins. Let's say I'm just not saying, for example, they put real life money into the game. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like $50.
Absolutely.
Similar to like buying skins on Fortnite, virtual currency, just like
For sure.
2K.
For
You
sure.
pay real life money to get virtual currency so you can buy clothes. Let's say
Absolutely.
we take virtual currency out of the mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's real bread.
Yeah.
You put real bread in the game. Okay, I go in here, I go to the clothes. Oh, I see this Mickey Mouse shirt, give me
Yeah.
+5 armor.
Right.
And I buy it. My character wears it. But because I got my address on file, whatever, because I bought it in the game with real bread,
Mm-hmm.
that gets shipped to my house. So now I'm wearing what my character wearing in the game. That's
Absolutely.
real. Then now you can have Black-owned brands in there. You can have Native American brands. Like they got what style of clothes you look for. Like when they go up to the dude, be like, "What you looking for? T-shirts. Okay, what kind of shirts?
Mm-hmm.
You looking for a brand?" And you can have Nike, Adidas.
Now let's flip it from the licensing model. Not you're wearing what your character is wearing, but your character is wearing what you wear, your favorite brand. So
Okay.
you're supporting. Let's just say you're supporting a Black-owned business, right? This is my brand. This is your brand, right? This is something that you enjoy.
Mm.
Your brand is already partnered with this platform, right? You make that purchase, it automatically gives you the skin inside the game. So now they're adapting your style.
Into the
You know
game.
what I'm saying?
So if I buy it in real world, you get like a QR code on the tag or something, or
it's automatic, right?
automatic. Okay.
A lot of platforms and marketplaces already had this adapted, right? You create the account, they basically already know your address. Not to say it's mandatory, but they already know your address.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You already have a profile. Right? Once you make that purchase, it's automatically updating your account inside of this type of
Marketplace.
inside of this marketplace, inside of the game. Right? But the biggest thing is what I believe is the type of marketing it is. It's interactive marketing now. It's not catching people by surprise. It's catching you in the middle of that satisfying gameplay. I'm investing into this. I want to power up. I want to find more rewards, right? Because it's gonna offer not only in-game rewards to be able to enhance your play experience, knock off some bosses, right?
Exactly. Get on the leaderboard.
Yeah, get on the leaderboard. But it's also giving you real world applications. It's giving you real world rewards that you can use.
You can use them. I think that's going to definitely open up a lot of opportunities for brands to get themselves into the video game space more, because video games is a very profitable business. It's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. There's only there's only 3 game companies. It's Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. Meta kind of come into the mix with virtual reality. So imagine Oculus get into the mix. Imagine Apple with a $3,500 thing. Imagine Meta with them glasses. Now imagine we have it. You have it to a point where you do the meta glasses and you scan. You looking through the real world, and someone has your game, and they wearing a shirt, and they go, "Hold on, he played the game. Hold on, I see that clothes. I can get that. Oh, that shit nice. Let me go ahead and take it. Let me take that screenshot. Let me take that clip, and then we can do what NFTs tried to do was those meetups, which were super successful depending on the project. So like I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club had a great example of like exclusivity of like doing meetups. Hey man, cool. I see you on the FaceTime NFT group. I see you in the game, your profile. You make a big announcement on this big board. And they look up almost like the Fortnite. They do Fortnite events, and everybody watches Fortnite. It's the Travis Scott concert, the Eminem concert. You get like a up and coming artist to come in and make an announcement, like yo, FaceTime NFT live in New York City. Please check your emails for the proper location. Make sure you RSVP. We got limited spots. Peace. Boom. They disappeared. And now they go back to playing the game. They're like, wait a minute, what's what? Let me go on my email. Oh, FaceTime NFT link up. Please, you know, come. Then they have name tags. Name tags got QR codes. Like, because let's say they register and they get a special QR code. Save this QR code because you'll need this when you go to the event. Boom, you get a name tag. You put your little personal QR code from your email on your chest. So now when people can go around, they can scan, take their phone, scan it. Your AI character pop up on their phone. Be like, okay, this is the real AE. This is your AI character. I'm seeing on my phone. Let's become friends. Friend. And now we have game, real world applications, NFTs, man, it can blow up. And that's I see where that technology comes in. That's hard, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a real thing, man. I've been part of circles or lobbies, game lobbies where these guys actually know each other, not by real name, not by government, but actual player tag, right? And I'm not sure if you've seen the meme, but it was actually like gifting, like they was giving each other gifts, and they brought the guy the PS5 because he didn't have it. He was still playing on the old thing, so it's an actual community of people that's doing these type of link-ups. I mean, we already know the these Comic Cons and all of these game conventions and different things like that. So I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that. So 2024.
I see a lot of development that's coming in, and so definitely everybody can check them out at saying Love Created like that. They can go ahead and get on that. So I didn't want to stop there, honestly, for the conversation. What I wanted to really dive into the fact is when we talking about I wanted to dive into when we talking about the whole AI 3D space and creativity, man. I definitely want to talk into the money aspect as well, because you are a trader, you are an investor.
Absolutely.
You are a trader, you are an investor, you are somebody who I've worked with personally over the past damn near 2 to 3 years. So just trading and stuff like that. But we understand how the market is moving differently. So I wanted to get your perspective on, what we've seen in 2024 of what the market is. And I'll give you a little bit of what mine is. I do see a year, a lot of growth. I do see a lot of prosperity for a lot of people, but I also see a lot of chaos for many. And I say chaos, not in the respect to scare you. I say chaos in a matter of there's going to be a lot of surprises. There's going to be a lot of unexpected movement. Like what just happened? A lot of just what just happened. And I'm optimistic about it just because we've been studying the market for years. We can look at charts and stuff like that. So I wanted your perspective, man. What you feeling, in that space? Because you actively investing. I know you doing in the game thing, but I also understand as an artist, you still getting your capital. You still trying to get the capital to do it. So what you thinking?
So for 2024?
Yeah, for the market, 2024, your outlook on it, in the financial sector, what you thinking, what you saying? Just want a little bit more of your
my biggest thoughts on the market in 2024, I do believe is going to be a rise on crypto, right? Because it moves in an emotional chart. So this will be the year of basically the increase in the rise of crypto. And one thing I would like for people to understand is it's around for the long haul, because it's not just a currency, but blockchain is a technology, which means the way we actually connect with people and networks.
Yeah.
And it's extremely powerful because it's better than 5G, it's better than 4G, it's better than all of those other systems that we had, because it's completely public. right? So there's transparency in the technology, and it have to be verified and proven, and it cannot be modified. So that's extremely powerful when it comes down to the value of something.
Mm-hmm.
These companies will need it. Like it's not going to be an option to be able to use it. It's required, right? And when it's supply and demand at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
When the supply is extremely high, of course, then there's not too much value. But when the demand is high, right, and the supply is low, what does that mean for the value of anything?
Exactly.
Right, it goes up. It could be applied to sneakers. It could be applied to the market. It could be applied to currencies, and it's definitely going to be applied to crypto. So those are my thoughts. That's the first thing that came to mind when you asked me the question.
Yeah, and I think what I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine here in Houston actually,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about he was a little bit pessimistic on the crypto side of this, the value of the currency. Where I was more weighing on is like the currency itself might not hold the value, it's the technology that the coin is sitting on.
Right.
The Ethereum networks, the Solana networks, through the blockchain networks, through those networks within themselves, the coin can be absolutely zero. Don't mean that the technology disappeared.
Absolutely.
Just because the physical, the digital coin itself, or the value of you be able to buy goods and services with the coin goes down, the technology and the idea behind it is still going to be there. And that's usually how it is. Like crypto can be a complete flunk. Let's say I'm not going to speak into the universe because I got invested myself. I just got to be ledger, you know what I'm saying? But let's say crypto turns out to be a complete fluke, goes to zero.
Right.
Do you really think people are going to be like, oh no, there's something here. There's this technology that we can use, the way that users interact, and also the public. And it's so interesting how during COVID, it went to 69,000 and the public wasn't even 100% behind it. Even the institutions like Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Vanguard, and the U.S. government owning crypto, they weren't even involved, and it still hit 69K off of a whim.
They wasn't publicly involved.
Now the fact that they got spot ETFs publicly through the SEC getting those things passed before the halving that's going to be in April when they slash it in half. Do you really think as if you understand history and how oligarchs and empires take over, they don't just take over, they take over everything. So they saw the Web3 space and said, this is something we've never seen before. We don't know it. So let's hire jobs to teach people AI, crypto, design. Absolutely. Let's hire engineers to do the research. So then, okay, cool. Now we get our lawyers involved. Now we can see if we can create some legislation. We take that to the government. So we got to do it legally. And then also all those big boy, rich 1%ers that got their money in our banks, they're hitting us up like, hey man, look, I want some crypto. I want to be involved. Like what's going on? I want to be involved. But then they got burnt out by Sam Bankman-Fried. So since they got burnt out and all the politicians that he donated to, they got burnt out, but they still see a value in it. So now they're going to go through the government through an ETF, which can become an investment fund that you can now buy just like a Roth IRA 401k. But I veered off a little bit. What I mean by that is I want people to really look at something called a white paper. You know what I'm saying? So a white paper is the genetics, it is the backbone, it is the nucleus of the coin. If the coin does not have a white paper, it is not a good coin. Read the white paper and see the value of the coin, because every coin's technology and usage is going to be different. Like me and you, we do different things. Like I'm a Kappa, you a Sigma, but we still D9.
For sure.
You Bitcoin, I'm Ethereum, but we still crypto. But we still crypto. But your usage and your technology and how we using it is going to be completely different. So I want people to research something called, look me in the eye, bro. Look up something called white papers and read them thoroughly. Print them out, highlight things that you like, highlight things that kind of scare you. Because then you can make the worthy investment. For example, Cardano was heavily used in Ivy League schools. Harvard, Yale, Princeton. They was looking at Cardano and using that within their school system. I said, okay, I sat back and said, look, them Ivy League institutions been here since 1830, 1840. They've been here. They got multi-million dollar, almost billion-dollar endowments.
Right.
I might have to look into Cardano just because the worth, the value behind it is with the institutions. And these schools ain't gonna go nowhere. And I can go on forever, but as we are evolving in 2024 and I think crypto is going to be a big thing, maybe you're a target, not just like an art. Maybe your audience isn't the currency. Maybe your audience is the tech geeks, the engineers. I'm going to show you this technology, and now we can make something beautiful out of this. So I think everybody can get involved in crypto, but the white paper will allow you to, okay, where do I feel? Where does this connect to me? Where does it resonate? Where can I spiritually involve myself into it? Where can I get emotionally involved and support a project? Because at the end of the day, it is the technology. Yes, it's a currency, but it's a project too. So just like with anything in life, like you invest into an artist, you can invest into the crypto. Same thing.
For sure. And talk about the mindset as far as the value and the worth,
Yeah.
right? Like, well, the price versus the value, because that's always going to be the biggest misconception, right?
Yeah.
Is it worth paying $100 now, but it's actually worth probably like 10,000
Later.
right later, or honestly behind the smoke and mirrors, because the value is so the price is what somebody decides.
Yeah.
Right. The value is what something is actually worth. So it's the biggest misconception within within the system that we exist in right now, right?
Right.
Because let's just be honest. Let's just say a pair of Jordans, for example, and no not to knock to Nike and no knock to Jordan, right? But in reality, let's talk about the price. The price is, let's just say retail about 190, right? $200, 230 average
For a shoe, yeah.
For a shoe. But the person that's manufacturing it, it's actually only like maybe $9 to $10 to make.
To make the
Right.
physical material to shoot.
After retail, after they come out, these same pair of shoes are jacked up double, triple, even 4 times the amount that it was released for, yet alone that it was made to produce. So this is the value that we give it.
Yeah.
Right. Because Nike set the price to sell retail to the people that was actually fortunate enough to get it on the release date. Now the price is what's coming from the manufacturers, right? The actual price, it was $9 to $11 to make in materials, leather, shoelaces, and whatever it cost the design team. But that was just a fixed rate. The value is what we given it, what we decided. Somebody decided to say, hey, this actual drop is different from that drop. And I don't believe people should pay $200 for it. I think they should have to pay $800.
Right.
And now the simple fact that I was fortunate enough to benefit from the retail release from the drop date
at 200. Yeah.
I basically set this value and the amount of influence that I have behind me and the community that I have behind me that exists in this system gets to decide that value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But in reality, everything has a price, everything have a value, and value can be shifted or set by a certain community of people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I'll do it even one bigger. It's the story behind it.
Right.
The story adds the value. The flu game shoes. Okay. The price of that shoe is because of how worthy of the story that man Jordan in the flu game. It's the story behind it. Like, and that for art, as you as an artist, your story can be the value.
Absolutely.
The price can be what the marketplace has decided to spend its money on. That's just the material interaction, because that's just the transaction.
Right.
But the value of, hey, are you just gonna buy this item and hold on to it for years? Or are you gonna buy this item, just keep trading it around? Like, this ain't playing cards. You feel me?
Right.
But now, hey, I'm gonna give you something. Here's the story behind this product. Okay, dang, I might have to tap into it. It's almost like these designer brands, Louis Vuitton, Prada. We buy them. There's such a high price for them because we, as the community, see the value of it, bro. Louis Vuitton and Prada can be making a T-shirt from the same manufacturer that H&M be making it.
$300.
This T-shirt right here can be the same manufacturer that make Louis Vuitton and Prada. I know probably is not, and there's always, but when you go on their websites and you look at the difference of an H&M website versus a Prada website or a Louis Vuitton website, like H&M, they don't got moving slides in the back. They just got the item, maybe a couple picture of a white boy and a black girl smiling. But then you go on the Prada website or you go to Louis Vuitton website, they got the photo shoots, cameras flashing. They got lines moving across. They got the superficial stuff. Every photo has a little bit of a glare over it.
So it's the story.
It's the story. It's the artistry. It's an effort. It's an effort behind the product that you make, regardless of pricing. That's where that value versus the price comes in, because it'd be like, your price can be super expensive, but you put no effort behind it. There's no value. There's no story. Now you're just being greedy. versus, hey man, you should only really charge $20 because you're $20 worth of value. But if you're $10 value right now, but I see a value in you, now I can invest in you. Boom. And now you can grow and now we can win in those earnings. So
So
I
it's a
believe
double-edged sword, right? It's a
it's a
double-edged
double-edged sword.
sword. From the consumer, also power to the creators, because if you had enough influence to be able to set this value on something that's priced, or the materials of something that's so low, to be able to set a value because you have that type of influence, right? I think what's more important is just the consciousness from a consumer aspect, because we are consumers at some place. Just the consciousness. We've seen these brands do it time after time again. You know, these things get recycled through time. We could talk about the Reebok era, right?
Right.
Where it was being being $200 tickets, $300 tickets, and almost throughout time, almost overnight, it was like, yo, we're not wearing those no more. Now you see them in the Walmarts, and you see them in the discount places and things of that nature. So it's just the consciousness of it all. Like, be invested in it because it's something that you value, right? Because that value could easily be taken away. We see all these movements to cancel people. You know what I'm saying? They banned, everybody getting shadow banned and
completely cut off the internet, like completely clipped, man. So
completely clipped, right? Voice mean nothing, value mean nothing, products mean nothing. For these major brands, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, all of these different brands, they had their errors, but they continue to exist.
Right.
Why?
The value's there.
Because the value's there.
Because
the influence, the community, the people that's actually invested and believe that this still holds some type of value, and it's not going to drop to the Walmart level and the discount shop levels because of that influence they have on the people.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's the way that they're able to set an image of, I want that. Almost like this is it's a symbol of status. And I think a lot of people, that's what they use their influence of, is to create this perceived level of status. And now they can place a price on it because, like, oh, you can't get into this room without a Louis Vuitton shirt on. Damn, how much shirt? $900? Now you're willing to pay to get access. And that's why I see where price can be manipulated. You got to pay a price to get access, access to a community, access to information, access to just different events and different functions. Like, not everybody can go to a Louis Vuitton fashion show unless you pay that price. What's that price? It could be creation, it could be time, it could be dedication, it could be networking. So there's always a price to pay in the marketplace. And the marketplace is always shifting. So as a creator, you got to be able to adapt to what the marketplace is telling you. Like, hey, this was hot, but it's slowing down. How do you keep that momentum wave? And then as a consumer, you got to look at it too, because we have a lot of power. Like, the Black community has $1.4 trillion worth of spending power. We have a lot of spending power as a consumer. And if we as consumers are smart enough to understand, man, like, bro, like, maybe this brand really not it. We have the power to literally tear them down. Example, I just do a great example, and this is not to be political for something, but this is numbers. When so the Israel-Hamas war started, so people started boycotting Starbucks. I think you've seen
I seen.
Starbucks lost $11 billion in revenue. And that was literally because people decided to stop going. Do you think advertisers pulled out? Probably not. Do you think investors pulled out and shareholders pulled out? Maybe. But we don't know that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the fact that a group of people on social media as a community said, we're going to boycott Starbucks, that just shows you as an example of what consumership can change the marketplace overnight. So we as creators, we got to understand that double-edged sword. At any moment, if I overjack this, I'm screwed. If I undervalue it, I can also be screwed. So you got to find that medium with trial and error and just do tests. You know what I'm saying? Do tests like that.
Shout out my bro Kanye, man.
shout out to him, man. As a creative genius,
because we have to address it, right? This is somebody who basically exemplifies the example of the things that we're talking about. Not to say like outbursts and different behaviors, but as far as standing on your value, being able to set what you believe is right or true, regardless of being shadow banned or canceled.
Right.
Because we seen the small window of the ban or a shadow ban of Kanye West with Adidas and the Yeezy brand.
Yeah, right.
Let's just be honest. How did that really play out? It played out for maybe a month and a half.
Yeah,
No more Yeezys, or we're still gonna sell them, but we're not gonna have his name on it. So it's a example of price versus value at its finest.
right, exactly.
Right. It's not the price of the shoe. It's not the Adidas brand. It's the influence that
They
Kanye
had
name has connected to this design.
because Adidas was
So,
losing. Adidas lost a whole bunch of money when they said that
mm,
the Yeezys brought in almost 30%
right.
of Adidas overall value as a company, and you take
That's
and
a lot
so
of that's that's a major percent. Like most people will understand the amount of products that Adidas offer. Right.
tons
Tons. Almost every sport on the planet Earth, swim
athletes,
gear,
yeah,
athletes, recovery products, recovery drinks, actual equipment that's being set up and placed on the field, headbands, sweatbands, towels, merchandise, clothing. But for one person's product to hold 30% of the did you say the revenue?
no, roughly 30% of the company's like value. They
That,
say they're losing
bro,
billions. They said
that,
they was going to lose billions of dollars of that Yeezy brand.
and that's crazy.
That's you see, that's true influence and
Right.
power. Skip all the outbursts.
Hmm.
Do you understand how valuable and how much time it takes for you to build a brand around that?
A brand of Adidas, magnitude, right? A brand
Right.
that's big. It's a global brand, right? Everybody knows
Global,
it.
yeah. And you got to think Adidas been way longer than Yeezy even existed. Like Kanye
Hmm.
came into the game and just being authentically himself.
Facts.
Cause bro, I ain't gonna lie, I never bought a pair of Yeezys. I thought the shoes were clunky.
Mm.
I just thought about it, but then I just go around. I'm seeing 12-year-olds wear the shoes. I'm
Hmm.
seeing grown men, grown women wear these shoes. I'm seeing the Yeezy brand on like people wearing the Yeezy clothes and the fashion shows.
Hmm.
Just him. Just a Yeezy fashion show.
Yeah.
Nobody else is there but Louis, stuff like that. And it just shows when you stand on the morals and values, even when people don't agree with them,
Hmm.
your legacy and your value can carry when you're gone. So that I like it, the Kanye reference for sure.
For sure. And it's from my aspect, I'm actually from Chicago. I'm from the same area, right? So we
Right.
walk the same streets. We favor some of the same places, some of the same music. It's admirable, right? Some of Kanye early releases, early music, and he's talking about Louis Vuitton and how much he loves this and his fascination with fashion and wanting to assert himself in the fashion space and to be able to put itself amongst those same names. Um, I mean, it's truly inspirational. It's motivating. It's
Exactly.
motivating.
And I want to take it to a outside. So we got Kanye. I want to take it
Mm,
to another side of a level of influence. Is Keith Lee, the food review dude.
man, crazy.
Being authentically yourself
Hmm.
allows for the world to react naturally,
Hmm.
not superficially. Example, let's say Kim Kardashian posts a photo. Out
Hmm.
of her 2 million likes on that picture, how many of them are actually organic likes? Organic people really liking your stuff. We don't know
It's hard to
that,
say. Yeah.
but it's hard to say. But that
Hmm.
it begs the question:
Yeah.
where's the authenticity behind it? Because we've only seen you get enhanced with whatever. I'm not trying to veer too far off. With Keith Lee, and I was watching him, when he only had 500,000 followers, now you got 17 million followers now. Because all he did, he stuck to his niche. He stuck
Hmm.
to what he's good at. Going to buy food,
Hmm.
sit in his car, eating it. He first had a Paw Patrol chair, and he just gave his authentic review. Did people backlash on him? Absolutely. Bro, I'm in Houston right now, bro. Atlanta was getting smoked for the Breakfast Club. Like this
Hmm.
is, but he's kept being him. And so some people were like, nah, we don't like it. Nah, you crazy. We're gonna do all these things against you, blah, blah, blah. Then there's a massive amount of people say, nah, we support. Nah, this is him. This is
For
authentically
sure.
him. This is what's him from the beginning. And I think I warn people to don't change your morals and beliefs and what you stand on for, I wouldn't say a price tag, because your value can get more pricey, so you're gonna
Hmm.
charge more.
Absolutely.
But I say don't give up your morals and beliefs just because the marketplace wants you to change. Stay on, there's a market for everybody, there's a somebody for everybody. And I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. There is a somebody for somebody. There is a marketplace where your value and your growth can be welcomed, but it's not it, but it's going to take some research. It's going to take some exploration. It's going to take some trial and error, bump your head, reach a lot of revenue. There's going to be a lot of growth in that. But the moment you change your morals and beliefs and values to it, now you're not authentic to yourself, and people can really read off that vibe and that energy when you're selling a product or you developing the game. They know you're just making a game to make a game. But like, nah, Luck Creator's making a game because he really cares. He really wants to make real world application. He saw the metaverses. He saw all the different Solana networks. He saw those video games didn't do too well. He said, "Wait a minute, I'm smart. I'm a creator. There's AI. Let me run with this idea." And now you've been working on almost damn near 2 years, really creating it, and now you making some things happen. So and you standing on that, bro. And I applaud you for standing on what Luck believes. This is what Luck does. This is what I do. I'm Luck Creative, man. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. That's who I am.
No, it's a fact, it's really a test of belief, right? What somebody honestly believe that they're capable of doing.
Right.
So idea is, I believe it's a gift from God, right? You didn't come up with that. Like the idea didn't come out of nowhere, right? It was inserted into your mind. And the gift is being able to resonate, right? So let's think about a vision. Most people, a great example of a vision is a dream. How many percentage of dreams do people think about, talk about, and remember for extended period of time? In depth.
Hey.
Right? So when you get something that's good for you, when you get an idea, when you get a vision, when you get a dream, and it resonates, it's basically your responsibility to figure out, first and foremost, write down exactly what it is, what it looks like when it's completed, and it's your duty, it's your responsibility to figure out how things work. Going back to AI, it's literally removing all of the in-between steps of figuring out how things work.
Right, exactly.
Because ChatGPT is literally, look, bro, ChatGPT is probably the strongest technology known to man right now. And people might criticize me for it, but it's the strongest technology. It's the strongest tool to be able to break down how things actually work from a technical aspect and from an overall aspect. Like, even with using the Unreal Engine, not just Design West, not just Midjourney,
right?
But I can literally type into that software saying, "Hey, using Unreal Engine 5, give me the logic behind making a jetpack," and it'll literally write out every single step. And even if it's vague, you can say, "Okay, now give me step-by-step instructions using blueprint nodes on how to set this up inside of my game to my character." I promise you, I've done it. I've used it. It's done. It's giving you the in-between. So it's giving you the know-how to fill in those question marks on what that vision was that was inside of you. Because you know what it is. You wrote it down. You come up with the game plan. And AI is helping you fill in those question marks. This is how you do it. Are you going to put in the work, or are we just going to let it fly and figure out what's next? So it's a consistency thing.
Yeah.
Right? You know that Denzel quote.
Yeah.
You've seen the Denzel quote, right?
Yeah.
It said, "Dreams without goals fuel disappointment."
Yeah.
And you'll also have to apply discipline and consistency, right? Because without discipline, you'll never get started. And without consistency, you'll never finish.
Exactly.
So if you use that on a day-to-day, man, you have a vision, you have an idea, you have to see it through, right? Because you're always going to be chasing some type of purpose. Most people define the purpose or their goal as monetary value, but when you get it, it often doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
So now, when you have a purpose, would you not want to see it through?
No, not of course.
Right?
Of course, you want to see it through. It's yours.
Yeah, for sure. And
that's that ownership. That comes to that ownership.
It's that ownership, and it's defined by the person.
Exactly.
What I want is going to be different than what you want. The reason why I want it is going to be different than the reason why you want it. That why is more important than what.
Exactly. It's
You know?
having that why. It started with why. A book, great book, Simon Sinek, started with why in that golden circle. And to close this out, bro, because this has been an amazing conversation.
sure.
I know a lot of people have been really tuning in. They definitely gonna tap in with you, learn about the game, man. I bet you there's a lot of creators I love to be in
Hey, collab.
involved in the game. Like, hey, bro, I want to
Yeah,
license through you, bro. Let's
for
get the
sure.
brand on there. Let's make a store, whatever. But I want to finish this off with start with why, because there's this golden circle. Because everybody knows how to explain what they want to do. So it starts like in three circles. It's on the outside circle is why you is what you do is what do you do? We ask that in the dating scene, right? You know what I'm saying? You go out with somebody, hey man, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
It's easy comment. Hey man, I do fraud or I'm a creative.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do you do that? And some people can get really in depth, like, oh man, it does this, that, and the third. Okay, so why do you do that?
Right.
It gets smaller and smaller.
Smaller and
And the
smaller.
the why aspect is based in two different acronyms: what hurts you and what's helping you. Those two lanes can fuel a purpose. What's hurting you
Absolutely.
fuels
Yeah.
your purpose, but what's helping you can fuel your purpose as well. And I hope people can learn from this episode just with starting off 2024, because bro, this has been an amazing
Oh yeah,
conversation.
yeah. No,
This has been an amazing
no,
conversation, bro,
bro.
especially 1 year from
Crazy.
how
1
we've
year.
grown. In 1 year from January 13, 2023. Now, you know, they're gonna see this video on January 13, 2024. I just want people to really sit back and understand that amazing things are going to happen. I want you to be weary of the chaos that's going to come your way. Use discernment in what's real and what's authentic and what's true. I would ask people to really sit down and question the values that where they value. Where do they come from? Where do those morals and values really stand on? Look for opportunities to create, look for opportunities to network. And last thing I'll say, man, is really ask yourself why you do what you do, and then use ChatGPT to help you find those prerequisites to make it happen. So, Mr. Creative, love my boy.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much
Yes,
for being on
sir.
here, man. Look, it's been a great another certified conversation. First one of the year. More is coming. We'll see you next time. Peace.